Crown says make your life easy. Don't be mad, UPS is hiring. Don't be mad, UPS is hiring.
I'm gonna let that one sit for a second. Let that settle. Let that settle. But if you've ever watched my show, I consistently tell the ladies, you out here struggling, talking about you can't get a good man, blah, blah. I'm like, y'all better look at some of these brothers that's doing something that's not white collar. They make good wages, electricians kill, right? Sanitation kills, according to some of y'all, UPS out there killing. Don't be mad, UPS is hiring, right? Let's talk about that. Is that what struck a chord with people? Did people feel like since I said UPS, I was degrading all jobs that involve working with your hands or that weren't white collar, that didn't put you behind a desk? Okay, maybe I was. You're right. It was a shot. It was a shot. Complete shot. But I was kidding. I respect mechanics and all the folks that do the things that I can't do. Let's elevate. Let's elevate, right? Ryan Foster's in the building. Hey, y'all, listen, everybody tuning in, everybody that's watching, I appreciate you watching my sad little podcast that I do every week that nobody watches. I appreciate you all tuning in and giving me a couple of eyes. I feel special this week.
Yeah, because we got more than 3 viewers.
We got more than, my mom's watching, and usually my cousin and my dog. I mean, there's 3 people that are watching.
Your dog has an Instagram account?
Yeah, my dog is a beast.
Shout out to
yeah. What up, y'all? Evan, what up? What up, Clarence? What up, Joe? Thank you for that fucking intro, bro. That shit was dope. Dave Wright, what's happening, baby? Oh, so it's been a fun filled past 48 hours.
Oh, don't get famous and then all of a sudden skip.
It's been fun filled.
Where's your intro?
I'm sorry.
It's your man B False. B False is in the building.
I already did that. No. I did do that.
Okay. Was I like a bachelor?
I don't know what the hell you were doing.
I felt like it happened.
It happens.
All right. Well, maybe.
You're on a jumbo screen too. I love it.
You know what it is. You know what it is. So, Sean, what's
the don't use my real name.
It wasn't with the hat and the sunglasses.
I'm in witness protection.
So funny.
What do you mean you in witness protection?
Because you get death threats, people looking up your mortgage details. I need that to stay over here. My name for the duration of this podcast is Chicago Man's podcast co-host. Do not refer to me as anything else.
Tag you for that reason.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Protect the innocent.
Chicago Man. That's y'all. Anytime y'all refer to me the rest of this podcast, it's Chicago
Man. Chicago Man podcast.
Man.
I like they gave you some anonymity and privacy while tagging
Instagram.
While tagging everything else that could have been tagged.
Oh my God. Oh.
Hold on. Let me start by saying I know a lot of you all might be first time watchers. Welcome. We appreciate you. And a lot of you probably saw my live last night, so I won't dive into too much detail about what the viralness that went yesterday. It was cool. It is what it is. But hey, listen, I love all of y'all. I do.
Unless you didn't go to Whitney Young.
No. I love all of y'all. Some of y'all just need to fucking relax. God damn. What is wrong with y'all lives, people? Why is this so goddamn stressful for you? I don't get it.
Wait a minute. You did this last night.
I'm just saying. Some of these might not have heard this shit.
You gotta release.
God, this shit was ridiculous. They still coming today. 2 days later.
It was people on my thread that I don't know you commenting on your live. It was wild.
Oh yeah,
I think that's the best shit ever. Yeah, they don't know you because they just really coming wild.
Yeah. Oh, that's true because they don't have no affinity for you, so they just go say the shit out. Yeah. Just no kind of care for your feelings whatsoever.
I'm fine with it. Oh, also let me say, I love my people. I said that this morning. I love my people. So many of y'all have checked in with friends of mine or checked in with me to see if I'm okay. Guys, I'm fine.
He loves it.
I'm fine. Actually, I do love this shit.
He wants more of it.
If anybody that knows me doesn't know, I'm fucking I am a
Loves
fucking.
it.
I don't know what's the word for it. I love the shine. I love the attention, bad up good. I'm a narcissist, and you're feeding my narcissistic tendencies.
You know what?
Thank
I
you.
said that on a show once, and you got
Damn,
offended.
that I
How
was a
dare you?
narcissist?
Yes.
It was the way you said it. I ain't
Oh, got it. My bad. I'll
You
try
said
to
all
say it
at the
more.
same time.
I'll say it more lovingly next time.
Hold on, Mila got on hat sunglasses. Are all y'all in protective custody? What is happening right now?
Okay, yeah.
Ah!
I don't want no strays.
Yo, I ain't scared of nobody. Jeff Murray, find me at 120. Wait, I ain't gonna give you my address.
Hey, why
They already, first of all, they already Googling it right now.
Let's get into it, Southside. Let's get into it. Hey, first of all, thank you all for joining. Sean, what's up? I can't believe
Just told you what my goddamn name was.
Oh, I'm sorry. Chicago woman.
Chicago
My bad.
Man's Podcast.
My bad. Chicago Man's Podcast. host. On my right, I got my man 50 Grand. He hasn't been with us in a long time. I'm super excited to have him back. My man, Jeff Murray, representing Hyde Park
Hey, look.
with y'all fragile bitch asses.
This is what we got. This is what we got right here. Hyde Park is in the building. What up? I need y'all to comment, say some things in the comments for my Hyde Park people. My Indians and Thunderbirds. I have a little bit of affinity for my Indians, though. Yeah, I'll explain that a little bit.
What's the
Oh, y'all changed your name to the
We
Thunderbirds?
definitely changed it to the Thunderbirds.
I mean,
you went to U of I. You know how that shit
thank you
go.
for being politically correct.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Eventually.
I respect that. Okay.
Yeah.
And then on my
yeah.
far left, she also has not been on in a hot second, at least not with me.
This is true.
I've seen her a lot, but I miss her every time I don't. My girl Mila. What's going on, baby?
Hey, how are you? Glad to be here.
Glad to be here. I like that quick, short response. All right. Sean, you want to get into it? Whatever you want to do. Let's go.
Oh, I mean, I feel like we at least need to take the first few minutes to dig into your fame. That's now spent, has. So let's just. How did you feel? Right? You put this post up. You being you.
Mhm.
All of a sudden, you make it. Public because somebody asked because they was on bullshit too. You wake up the next day to 1,000 views, and 3 hours later, you now have the whole blog post about you. I just want to understand the cycle of emotions you felt yesterday. And don't say you didn't care because I did talk to you yesterday. Don't lie.
I wasn't shocked. I'm the man. No, I was a little. Listen. Everybody that knows. For me, anybody that knows me, y'all know this is light work. That was a light work post. I said way more inflammatory things.
I said this.
So for this one to kind of have gone the way it went, I was a little surprised. And then when I knew it was real when my son called me, my 23-year-old son, it was like, Dad, I opened up Instagram. You the first thing I saw. What the fuck is going on? Then my one of my better friends' wife is a Caucasian lady. She texted me this morning like, "Are you good? You're all over the internet."
White.
I mean,
I crossed over, baby. I crossed over, baby.
It is
crossed over.
In all fairness,
Mainstream.
It is with young. It is diverse.
So white IG.
So I say this to say I wasn't expecting it. It was kind of cool. To say it wasn't kind of cool would be disingenuous. It was kind of cool. And to be frank,
still in it.
Yeah, and to be frank,
it's not over yet.
Talking shit with a whole bunch of motherfuckers I don't know trying to gas me up was fun as hell.
Now, okay, so Mila, you knew him way back when he was nobody. Now that he's somebody,
I know, right?
Do you feel like we got to talk to him different now? Do you feel like he's like untouchable?
Oh, God. Katie, that's not Katie Monroe. That's my white friend. I was just talking about.
Shout out to you.
Right.
Because I'm just wondering that do we have to talk to you a certain way now? Do we have to call you Mr. Chicago Man?
You should have always been doing this. So welcome to the party.
Yeah, but you wasn't Chicago Man before yesterday.
Well, now I am.
You
refer to me as such and put the Mr. in front too.
Good luck. Good luck to that happening. No, I will say, okay, full disclosure, I thought it was the weirdest shit on earth. The weirdest. And I still am not super clear why it went viral. I'm still a little lost there.
I mean, on one, so you repped Hyde Park. So I got to shout out Lane Tech Indians, as well as Simeon Wolverines and my MP.
Is Lane Tech still the Indians?
Is it?
I haven't been there. Lane Tech would.
I expect more of Lane Tech.
I wouldn't.
Damn.
It's only so many times you can call lame tech before you're like, oh, that doesn't hurt. Like,
I never even did that before.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of
it's old. I mean, one, we're in the season of reunions. and everybody is throwing shots. Like, we're here. I mean, you can't open up Instagram or Facebook without somebody that's hyping up their reunion and putting out memes and diss records. Was that Hyde Park that put out the diss track?
Yeah, diss track out there.
Somebody got a diss track. If you're the
Y'all got too much time on y'all hands.
We do have T-shirts that say "Not like us."
Yeah. Okay.
So maybe we did drop that diss
But
track.
Chicago is creative, and I think that's what we see is that generation by generation, things pop off. But it was inflammatory. It came from a school that everybody already has some feelings about, especially the Black students that go there, and so it poked at the bear.
It poked at
a little
the
bit.
Chicago tribal allegiance.
Well, that's the point of this show. Let's talk about it real quick.
Yes.
Let's dive in. Hold on. Before we must go there, really quick, I want everybody to go around this desk and tell me where you went to school and what your experience was like when you were there and when you graduated. And I'm going to start. Sean, you right here, so let me know.
Am I giving my real school or am I getting the school y'all say I went to?
Your real
Damn, Sean. Oh,
I mean, look, the running joke is that I went to Harlan or Hirsch, which are both very untrue. But I did not go to a school that was too unsimilar to them. I went to Bowen. Shout out to Bowen, the Boilermakers. We actually had our first reunion. We haven't had a reunion in like 25 years.
What is a Boilermaker?
I actually know the answer to this, but because you
sense.
asked me now, I'm blanking. A Boilermaker is a person that works on a train. I believe it's the person that actually puts the coal into the furnace. I think, but don't quote me. Actually, a Boilermaker is two things. That's just one of the things.
So they work at Amtrak or Metro. They got hands on. They're the people who actually physically work.
So they shovel the coal.
Okay,
That's
kind of like
that's
why that's why they took it a bad way.
That kind of fits actually.
Coming from a Whitney Young person, I'm not surprised.
That kind of fits. That's manual labor.
But yeah, so
This is what we're doing already.
Blue collar.
I love it.
Let's go.
am I done?
What was your high school experience like?
So I actually strongly dislike high school.
I think a lot of people.
I really dislike high school. I dislike high school. Yeah, because and going to my reunion slightly reminded me of this. Not that I hated people in high school. I just did not enjoy my high school experience. Mostly because I felt like an outsider in high school. I felt very different than the other kids there.
That's fair.
So I never.
Oh, we.
So thank you for coming to the In the Zone podcast. It's 12.
Sorry.
And I saw some people shout out Bowen, shout out to y'all. But yeah, I've always felt like an outsider. And truth be told, there were people around who also made me feel like an outsider because I didn't talk with a perfect ghetto vernacular.
Not perfect.
As we see, I did not speak with a perfect ghetto vernacular. So yeah, it was, and I will share this. Since nobody saw me in high school, I will share this that you all will laugh at. You ready?
You better cheer. Yeah.
I did have a curl.
Oh, yes! I was just guessing.
So,
what year was this?
The Jerry curl?
It was until my junior year.
But what year was
this?
This
is like 90.
I graduated in 97, so this was from.
So curls had been out.
It still had
I
curls?
know this.
Oh,
I did. Can we just be clear that I did not have control over what was happening over
So
here.
you were 17
At
years
17,
old.
you had control of your Jerry curl?
At 14, I did not.
In 93 though, you got there in 93.
That happened.
I was
curl
14
out.
in 93.
Oh my God.
If you went to prom with a Jerry curl,
I did not go to prom
Did it
with a Jerry
stain the
curl.
dress? Did it stain the dress? That's what
I had a leisure curl. I did not have a Jerry curl.
Oh, yeah,
You
leisure
gotta
curl.
put the soul.
Well,
I want to call Child Protective Services right now. And you 47 years old.
Wild.
That's wild as hell.
I've been removed from that. I've been released from that club for a while now. Thank you.
I'm telling you,
Appreciate your
it
whiteness.
wasn't how you spoke. It was definitely.
It was definitely the leisure
No.
curl.
It was the curl and how I spoke. It was
Did you carry a bottle with you?
No, I did. It was
Like a
illegal.
40-ounce bottle? Or what you talking
And
about?
freshen it up in the locker.
You know what?
He's rocking. She's rocking.
I'm glad that you all are going to enjoy that. But yes, that is my truth. I did have a curl until about halfway through my junior year. Then I cut all my hair off.
I'm fine with getting that on here.
We need an old school
You
picture.
have to get somebody from Bowen. If somebody from Bowen want to
I'm
throw
gonna
one up
FOIA
there,
that.
do it.
I am
You don't
going
have
to
one?
FOIA
You
that
can't share
from
one
the
with
school.
us?
I'll be like,
I
can I
have
get
to go look
your
at No, I'm not sharing one with y'all.
On live.
So y'all, you see how y'all got you have the
picture?
Go and see the show you. Fuck you.
For several years, I've never known this.
Yeah, y'all went there and find that.
Anyway, yes, that's my
Chef, I'm gonna shift it to you.
Oh my God. I don't know how to recover from that.
I don't either. I I love it. I want to stay on the curve.
All right.
What school did you go to?
All right. Yep.
And what was your high school experience?
All right. So I went to Hyde Park Career Academy. That's important to note because it's no longer called Hyde Park Career Academy. All right. When I was there, we were the Indians versus the Thunderbirds. There's a lot of competition going on. We ain't gonna get too deep.
Y'all even compete amongst yourselves right now?
We even compete
Y'all
amongst
fight
ourselves.
amongst the family?
We don't fight though. Once we get to the reunion, everybody's family. Everybody's family.
Y'all fight outside of the reunion?
We kind of jokingly
poke.
poke each other and stuff like that. But it's all good. Well, Hyde Park Career Academy, went there. 92 is when I graduated. So 88 to 92.
Now, were you on the good side or the
I was on the good side that actually didn't have the graffiti or anything.
Right.
No.
That's when you know you're from the crib.
Versus his post that he did earlier, y'all. Hyde Park in the building. Versus when he posted the building. We didn't know. No. I mean, all right. So
don't lie.
It was all the same side, but we had different programs.
Which program
right?
were you in, Jeff?
So I was in the magnet program. Where
That was a magnet program at Hyde Park?
Let's see, here we go. It was a college. It was a college prep magnet program. You can get extra credits as you before you go into college and you're ready to move on and make some things happen. So that was my experience with them. But Hyde Park was amazing. Like when I got to Hyde, I feel like this. I feel like there's 3 to 4 sections depending on where you're in America. But in Chicago, even in 3 to 4 in Chicago, you got 3 to 4 times to make a different impression and show your best. Right? Show your whole new brand because when you go from grade school and you have this brand that's automatic, everybody just think of you, whoever you are, and then you go to high school, you can recreate yourself, right?
People did that.
And you can do whatever you want. You can be like the nerd before that. You can be like, oh, I'm the coolest nigga when I go to high school. And then you go to college, there's a whole new rebranding, right? You have to take advantage of those. I was never the nerd, but I was really shy. In my first few years of grammar school,
you were shy.
I was kind of shy. In grade school, I was kind of shy. And then towards the last,
all of us got really quiet. Like,
and then he saw this shit.
In grade school,
I got shy.
Yeah,
I was kind of shy. In the first few years, like all the way 4th, 5th grade, and then I started to blossom. But then my first year, I went to Julian. And then people got shot and killed, and it was nothing but fire drills all the time because people kept pulling the joint. And I was like, yo, I'm not going to stay at Julian. I went to Hyde Park my last 3 years.
I see we're going to do this the whole show.
I know. And then I went to Hyde Park.
That's his experience.
But Hyde Park is what it was. So when I got there, it was really the best experience I had because I got in there, got in a football squad, started a football squad, senior boys club, all types of programs, newsletter, journals, book year club. I did a little everything. So it was a great experience because I felt like it was an opportunity to recreate yourself and do what you want and be the best you that you can be. I took advantage of that. So I loved Hyde Park. It was a great experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Mila? I know you got a unique experience.
I do have a unique experience. So first of all, I came from one of the top elementary school in Chicago. Everybody hates us. Shout out to all of the B's and B's. Yes, yeah, I'm there.
Oh,
so the schools that I went to, and I started out with Young.
The school ain't got no windows. How the hell y'all the best school?
Hey, don't be mad because you still on the wait list.
I wasn't. I passed that. When I saw it was a fucking prison, I decided not to go to that one.
I mean, we was across the street.
You went to Persian. I've seen Persian.
Persian was right off the lake. I got to throw a rock.
Anyway,
So I love my high school story. I have to start with my father named Whitney Young the Dolphins. So he was the first swim coach at Whitney Young. He then became the dean at Lane Tech, where I started my freshman year. Something happened. I was on the swim team, left Lane Tech, didn't have a GPA good enough. And my mother said Kenwood was too dangerous. And so she sent me to Simeon.
Wait. What?
Yeah, we got questions.
Make that math.
So
Kenwood
was too dangerous. So
this is what my mom was a police officer. Whatever inside school, I trusted her. I don't know how accurate she was, or maybe it was because I had to be on the bus because I lived right down the street from Simeon. She didn't want me moving around. Now remember, it's the 90s in Chicago. Like too much freedom, on CTA could be a problem. So I went to Simeon, and then I transferred to Morgan Park. As far as high school experience, Lane Tech was wild. It was so many people. I remember getting my first report card. It was the number 813. I'm like, what's this number for? I was like, nigga, That's your rank in your freshman class.
Oh.
Right. So it was like 1,200 freshmen, and I was like
Yeah.
813. We had the number one in the division. Simeon, I remember crying every day for the first week because I was so scared.
I mean, that's a different environment.
Super different environment, right? Like I came from Lane, where it was very, very diverse, to a school where it's about 400 and everybody knew me. Like it's only so big. I was on the swim team. My cousin was a coach there, and I can remember, my first day just being super wild and almost getting jumped on. Like I had to, I didn't really fit in, right? Because I came from this very diverse background. I swim, and I played the violin and the flute, and it's just not, eventually I fit in, joining track team. Morgan Park was super cool and very different, very segregated socially and ethnically. And those lunch periods were trash. Like we had like 12 minutes for lunch, like 23 minutes for lunch. Yeah, it was like a half period. So high school was super fun. I love the fact that I know from up north to all the way near Beverly. And the pride runs deep no matter what school you go to. But the culture, like high school culture, it is low-key a cult. And it can escalate to some anger. Even fights. And my mother said Carver and DuSable used to go at it. And yes, they used to get into fights. And I'm like, y'all still like that? She's like, nah. My mom was
So far
right.
Yeah. To be fighting.
That's wild. That's unique. That's unique. Those are three very different. I'm still talking about Neela. Jesus. These are three very unique cultures.
Yeah.
And we're going to dive in because you have a very different perspective. So when we dive into this, I want to hit you up really fast. Yeah. I think everybody knows my story. All right. I'm not even going into it. But I will say this. When get ready, Kenwood people. When I was in elementary school, you had to take all the tests, right?
Yeah.
But each test was just, you had to go to Hyde Park and take the test, which I did. Kenwood took a test. When Young take a test, Lincoln Park to take. You took all. You're going to taking all these entrance exams.
Right.
So
separately too.
Separately,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Each one was a separate test. It's not like the ACT. It's like each test for each school.
That was crazy.
So every Saturday, I'm taking these goofy ass tests. So I really wanted to go to Kenwood. I lived on 31st and King Drive. It wasn't that far. I've been past Kenwood a few times, and that's around at Hyde Park. I seen the girls. I was like, that's where I need to be.
Of course.
And Whitney Young was far. Like, that's an hour bus and train ride.
Yeah.
I was like, I could walk 2 blocks to school my whole life. So now it's like, I'm an hour away. That sounds ridiculous. My mother was like, no, Whitney Young, that's where you're going to go. And I was like, I'm Kenwood, the bitches. So, so she was like, let's go. She's like, all right. At the end of the day, I'm going to let you make the decision. But we got to go take this Whitney Young tour so you can be fully informed. I was like, fine. So me and a whole bunch of other folks from my graduating class, Reggie, Joy, shouting y'all out, Ramar, Kelly, we all hop the bus with our moms and go to the Whitney Young thing. And let me tell you,
the bitches.
You were sold.
the bitches.
I knew it.
Whitney Young has so many fine women. I couldn't believe it. And it was just such a completely different campus than Kenwood. Everybody felt so grown. Everybody had their riding boots and their Eddie Bauer bag and their leather jackets. It was just a scene. And I was like, done. So I say that to say, went to Whitney Young. I had contrary to popular belief, I had an amazing experience at Whitney Young. I had a great time.
You mean you weren't a lane?
You know what? Honestly, my first 2 years, I probably was kind of lame.
Oh!
My first 2 years, I was kind of a lame. I had big glasses, braces, figuring my shit out still. And then junior year. So
just like Sean, cut your curl off.
That's right. The summer before junior, I had shag. No, I'm kidding. The summer before junior year, I got my braces off. I got contacts. I finally figured out my gear.
You outside.
I got my driver's license. So I'm driving the whip up to the school. I'm already, and let's be frank, I'm already all city and track, right? Like I'm running varsity freshman year. So I already got this kind of plug going on. Junior year was my kind of butterfly year. And I came out there, no bullshit. I was like, oh shit, right, okay. All right, we see you. And then I got a senior girlfriend my junior year. One of the more popular
That's
senior
props
girls.
Right there. That's props.
The rest was history.
It's all.
Now y'all see why he wrote that post.
I'm downhill from there.
But I say that to say I had a great experience at Whitney Young. We can be a little bougie. But here's the thing about Whitney Young too. there were people from all over the place, not like quite like Lane, but there were people from all over the place because we had, you know, my West Side folks that were coming in. You had folks coming in all the way from Beverly, folks coming from Hyde Park, my little crew coming off of the low end, like folks coming from up north, right? Like it was a little bit of a diversity, but to be frank, our West Siders kept us a little grounded.
Okay.
Our West Siders kept us a little grounded.
Okay.
Shout out to the West Side.
Shout out to our West Siders. West Siders.
You don't need a lot of them, though.
The West Siders kept
Take
us
a little 5.
grounded.
5%. That's good.
That's right. And
I should be actual 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Come on, 5.
We're not gonna shut them up. We're not doing that on our West Side.
Damn.
And then we used to get scraps too, right? Like Jones Commercial, which is now Jones whatever. What is Jones?
College Prep.
But it was Jones Commercial when I went there.
Y'all was getting.
And we were getting the scraps on State Street every day.
I cannot imagine Dolphins fighting Jones Commercial.
I'm telling you, that's how it used to go down. It used to go down.
Y'all say
My boy Kevin Maxey got thrown through there used to be a Walgreens or a Woolworth or something across the street.
Not Woolworth.
From on State Street.
Woolworth.
From the McDonald's.
Oh
where the McDonald's used to be on State Street on Jackson. And he got into a scrap and they threw his ass through that window.
Oh my goodness.
It was my Winnie young people, y'all don't remember that. So I say that to say, it was a great experience. But I understand that a lot of people didn't have the best high school experiences. Because kids are just mean and rough and say stupid shit and want to step on somebody else's neck to elevate themselves. Kind of like my post I did. But see,
I was gonna say not too different than adults.
I can shoot it.
That was your legacy get back?
Yeah, it was not. So why not? But I do want to ask this. Thank you all for sharing. Why Chicago is so unique. If you go out in the streets of Chicago and you meet, or you're somewhere in another part of the country, another part of the world, you meet somebody from Chicago, the very first thing you're gonna go ask is, what high school did you go to?
Mm-hmm.
What high school did you go to?
Yeah.
What high school did you go to? And me and Sean have had this conversation on the show a couple of times, but we already kind of think we know what it is. But Jeff, why do you think that we are so tied into and these are people with degrees from Stanford, right? In high ranking institutions and doctors, right?
It's also the drug dealers too.
And drug dealers too. From the rooter to the tutor.
Yeah.
You're gonna get that question. It don't matter where you went. You might get college later, but that first question is gonna be high school. Jeff, why do you think we so rooted in our high school?
I think that's such a pivotal question, right? Like honestly, when you meet new people, even if you out on dates, I'd be like, hey, you know, what side of the city you from? South side or west side? Because west side, I ain't fucking with you. All right.
I said it was 5 West Sides and when he don't fuck with West Siders. So I
don't fuck with West Side. I mean, and then you'd be like, all right, so, that's cool. That's nice. And then what else? You know, I mean, what do you do for a living? And then the third question is what high school you went to? Honestly, that's so freaking important because high school.
Everybody throw your high schools in the chat, by the way.
High school.
What high school you went to and what class you graduated?
Hyde Park in the building. Hyde Park. So this is my thing right now. The third thing is what high school you went to. And that's so important in our general conversation because it tells me a lot.
What's it tell you?
It actually tells me, like, what was your experience in your real pivotal years of your life for 4 years? What were you exposed to? You know what I'm saying? If you went to Simeon, I know you had to fight and battle for 4 years and potentially...
I say it with a hard beat.
Battle. Or that was your mindset. Maybe you didn't battle because you were the one battling and sending this shit out there. And no negative, respect to that, but honestly, like, you knew what they were exposed to in their most pivotal years when they start to make decisions that were important in their life. You're about to leave your home, and this is what's curving and creating what you think life is about. It's either going to make you assimilate or it's going to make you grow and change from that. It don't put you in a box. But it definitely tells me what you've been exposed to in your creative years when you were trying to make some moves, right? So now, honestly, where you went doesn't make you, right? My first year, I went to Julian. I love Julian. I had a lot of great friends there. But Julian was one of those schools that was a neighborhood school, right? Automatically, you didn't have to take no tests or anything. Everybody go to Julian. I didn't have no issues with Julian. I love a lot of people that went to Julian. I went to Julian. You know what I'm saying? But I know what you've been exposed to in your environment for 4 years in your creative thought process, or where you had to adjust and make some moves. That may give you some perks. I may know you had some street cred. You went to Julian for 4 years and you went through it. I know you ain't no freaking off the wall Whitney Young. I mean, did I say Whitney Young? I know you've been exposed to some stuff, right?
We ain't really been throwing shots at them, so it's about.
All right, nobody. Yeah, it's about some stuff. But my thing is this: is like, these schools are important that you went to. I went to Hyde Park, but yeah, it makes a difference. It does make a difference, and I think we look at that, and it doesn't discriminate, but it does tell us what your exposure and your experiences were, right? Like at Hyde Park, I went there, I left Julian, I was on a football team, I did my thing, I got my first entrepreneur's experience serving candy, not weed. Not anything else. Candy.
I wasn't either, but
I put it out there. I wasn't gonna lie. I was the candy man for about a year. But it was a great freaking time.
Is Mendel still open?
Mendel's open?
Mendel was a spot. Mendel by Little Big's rock.
But that was the experience. And I feel like, I mean, to address your specific question, give me the specific question. I'll make sure I hit it.
You are
kind of drafted a little bit.
Chris Levy in me right now.
I did a little Chris Levy.
I said, why do you think people are so tied to their high school cultures and experiences?
Yeah.
It's one of the first things you ask when you meet somebody from Chicago.
I think people are so tied to that because that's the time when you actually are starting to be able to make decisions on your own. You know what I'm saying? Even though Sean, like, you still had your girl because he was only 14. Some people were like able to make them decisions.
I won't share shit with y'all every day.
I'm sorry, not in a bad way. But literally, once my parents let me, they was like, yo, choose your high school. I had options. And they literally like, this is what I'm thinking, but you make your final decision. I made my final decision. And that was at least from a guy's perspective or a man's perspective, this is where they start to allow you to make your own decisions. My parents were on my back. It was really.
Still not answering my goddamn question.
Why was it so?
I'm gonna come back to you.
Okay, I got you.
I'll come back to you.
All right, come on back.
Gather your thoughts.
Yeah, I will.
You're right now, Chief.
I am. I kind of went around on it.
I don't know what question you were answering, but okay.
I don't even remember the question. Sean don't remember it either.
I should made you blow on the alcohol test.
I know. We should have did.
So, Mila, why do you think Chicago folks are so tied to their high schools?
I'm gonna do the honest part, personal first, so we can judge the fuck out of you. There's that.
It's absolutely
right. Like there's now that's not what I do, but I absolutely know that when you say that school, immediately you are placed on a social hierarchy. Mm-hmm. Right. It doesn't matter what you look like now. It's like, where did you go? I know how to roast you. Yeah. Right. Then
I know how to, not regale you. I can't think of the word, but how to admire you.
Yeah. Right. And it's pretty standard. Like every generation, whether from 20 to 30 to 40, I get the same thing. When I say Lane Tech, oh, you smart. Mm-hmm. It's the first thing people. You got to be smart. I think Lane and Whitney Young, those are the two things that they say. Also, because we're black in those schools, and it's not a lot of black people. Then it is Simeon, like, oh man, you had to be out there like gangbanging. I'm like, no, not really, right? But people roast Simeon because we were a vocational school, and we were in a building that got purchased by CPS for $1, right? And so people treat people from Simeon like we some goofies. When I tell you, it is some amazing entrepreneurs, business people, elected officials that came out of that school, not just professional athletes. I'm not gonna brag, but like we got those too. People want to shit on Simeon because of where it's located, the building, who it is they think we are. Morgan Park was a little interesting because the culture was so diverse. That was my first experience of true like cliques, to the point where it was the seniors and the juniors, and some of them were together. It was the sports people together, very very much like that. But we also want to know, Chicago's so small, we want to know if we can make a connection. Oh, you went to Simeon? What year you graduated? Yeah. My cousin went there.
Who you know?
Yeah, who you know. And so it's this way of like figuring out 6 degrees of separation to build rapport.
Yeah.
Now we get to go off stories. Now we get to go down memory lane. But I don't know how to do that unless I have all the information about what year you graduated, who you knew, what sport you played.
That's huge.
All of those things, right? And so I think that's the other part. But the first part is so that we can roast you.
Judge you.
I don't know if it's necessarily
I don't
roast,
know
but
if
it's
that's
I think it's
Definitely
definitely
judge
part to place you in a hierarchy.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
oh, if you went to such and such and such, I think to your point, Mila, I know this about you. If you went to such and such and such, I think I know that
And you
about
think you know. But
I
and
think
sometimes
you know.
you may know because you have a connection, like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, my buddy went there and I know I used to go to their home. No, and Leo didn't catch no shots. Like Catholic schools didn't catch no shots.
No, they have their own little hierarchy that we don't
Amongst themselves.
fully
in
understand.
this.
Within this, you're
Oh
right.
yeah, no.
in this because Leo's parties on 63rd at the YMCA was cracking. So it was like when we were in high school, it was the Catholic schools that were kind of like at the top of the hierarchy, and then it was Lane and Young kind of neck and neck.
Depending on what school Catholic school you talking about.
I'm from the hood school perspective.
Well,
Right.
she's right. If you don't know anything about Iggy or Latin or Lab, right? You think a Leo and a Hales and a Mother Macaulay. If you know about those, you think those are like top tier.
And those are the
Academy
most
of Our Lady.
present,
Academy of Our Lady.
most present in the Black
Diva
community
Sal.
also.
Yeah. No
Yeah.
shots.
Diva
I'm just saying.
Right.
Just I'm not. Don't come after me.
You link unlimited scholars. Don't come for me.
All right, Sean. So I think Mila just dropped the hammer on it.
Yeah.
What
No.
else?
I mean, the only other thing I would add is confirmation bias, right? And I speak for this from
Okay,
my
big
own
words.
perspective.
That
And I only say that because now I've already said what high school I went to, right? Generally,
And that you
people.
had a curl.
don't forget that.
Should we just have a show about my curls?
Yes.
Next show.
No. So
I'm gonna be
people,
Sean for Halloween.
people-
I'll be a UPS driver.
Halloween party at my house. So there's a level of confirmation bias. When I meet people, people think I went to, and I don't want to hear no shit. I didn't go to these schools, but it's fine. They either think I went to Young, Kenwood, Hyde Park, Oregon Park. They already have their ideas of what schools I went to. And then when I respond, i.e. Brian, when I first met Brian, he was like, what school did you go to? And I was like, Bowen. He was like, the fuck?
Is that usually everybody's response?
That is everybody's
because
response.
you don't seem like a woman
Correct.
that would have gone to that.
Right.
school.
If you know the reputation of Bowen, and I've always described Bowen as lean on me 2 clicks down, right? I saw a lot of fights. I saw teachers being fought by students. I've seen people get thrown from the 5th floor balcony down to the 3rd floor. I've seen people get shot. I've seen a lot of stuff. But do I seem like a person from that environment? I guess it depends on what day you catch me. Right? But in general, no. I seem like I went to Kenwood. I seem like I went to Hyde Park, which actually I did want to go to Hyde Park.
Come
There's
on
a
over,
story
baby.
about why I didn't go, but I digress.
All right. Cool.
You okay? But yeah, so there's a bit of confirmation bias, and I always enjoy people's reactions, finding out that I went to where I went to, and watching them try to figure out how I landed there, because then I get to tell the story about how I got there. So it's very interesting. Seeing the
Was it a
reactions.
neighborhood school for you?
Yes, technically
Okay.
it was a neighborhood school.
What was the question? One more time.
Jeff,
Give me
I'm
one
gonna
more
give you
time.
one more shot.
Give me one more shot.
One more shot. One more shot. Bro.
We're gonna be talking about how they went from the Indians
You
to
got 1 minute. If you can't circle
You
up
said
in a
the
minute.
same thing
I
5
will.
times.
I
five
will.
different
Give me
ways.
the question.
The question is, why do you think people are so tied to their high school, and why is it important in initial conversations?
Oh, okay. I got you.
watch him fail this shit.
I'm gonna fail it again.
It's 7:54.
I'm gonna fail it again.
We'll go this
So
way.
here's the thing. It's so important because Chicago is such a mapped out city, right? We're segregated already. On the south side and west side, we're all black, right? But we feel that there's certain different things in certain different schools that we have expectations for, right? So if you went to Hyde Park or Whitney Young, we expected you at a certain level. If you went to Harlan, you went to the other school. It's not right. I'm not saying it's acceptable or it's truthful why, but it is ways to find people to find connections with each other. So it's important for people to do that because they feel like it's important, like to relate to other people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like if you tell me you went to Hyde Park, and the thing is like this, like Chicago is so different than other cities. In other cities, a lot of times you go to regular schools, right? Whatever the neighborhood school is. Mm-hmm. But when you go to actually in Chicago, you could test in other schools way on the other side of town. So the key is like when you actually meet with some other people, you're just trying to relate to what their experiences are and where they came from, so you can try to relate. Because I know somebody from the South Side where I've been at all these other schools. You know what I'm saying? So if you say you went to Whitney Young, I'm like, oh, what year you graduate? Oh, 94. Oh, you know Jameson. You know what I'm saying? We just trying to find a way to connect. That's all it is. That's why it's important.
Look at you, good for you.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I ain't that bad. I actually focused in. You know, sometimes you can do that. Sometimes you can do that. Hop up in the building.
What it is, and somebody just said, Elizabeth just said this in the chat, and I was just about to make this point. It's very, it's also very PWI versus HBCU.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Like you kind of want to Mila's point, you kind of want to go to battle and talk shit about it, even if you just playing around. Right. You kind of do want to judge them, rate them, and then say, I'm better than you, or fuck you, you ain't better than me, because I went to fucking you. So I think that's part of it. But I also think Chicago, to Jeff's point, is such a unique city in the way we are mapped out, red line, and where we live and how we live. And that segregation is real. Yeah. In other cities, and we're not the only city that does this, but I think other cities, they don't have a lot of this testing in. And if you in New York, you going to PS 125. That's just where you're going, right? That's just kind of what it is.
Down the street.
Yeah, you're going down the street. So it's not all this. I'm better because I got to test into the school and leave my community. But I mean, and they obviously have private schools and so on and so forth. But I think because of the way we're mapped out and spread out as a city, I think that's kind of a kindling and a touch point for even more segregation, which is awful.
So how it is that public schools are funded actually causes a lot of this problem, as well as the boundaries around the school, right? Mm-hmm. So you have some schools that have like weak market communities, low income individuals, not a lot of tax base. That school is not going to get a bunch of resources. Right. And so the unfortunate part is that the school that you go to, the neighborhood that can support that school, doesn't have the resources to do so. Mm-hmm. So now you have a school that is deficient, right? That doesn't have the infrastructure. I remember like in late 80s, early 90s, we didn't have air conditioning, right? There were kids that couldn't go outside because it was so dangerous. I remember going to Simeon. We had books from old out-of-date history books from a white suburban school, right? Like it was crazy. And so on some level, the deficiencies that exist are because of how it is that public schools are actually funded, what is a neighborhood school, and the boundaries of them. And that's the unfortunate part. It's like, yeah, it's funny that, you in a warehouse, but why is it that we don't have air conditioning or our heat doesn't work? Like, right. That's not okay. Why is it that we don't have a functioning swimming pool? Why is it that we can't actually afford the books, but we're paying for security? We can't really have any events or activities because we can't afford it. While a school like Whitney Young or Kenwood or Morgan Park gets all these amenities that you can experience the city, that you can learn how to play music, that you can go on class trips, where we're stuck getting the least and doing whatever we can do, kind of bootstrapping it. And as we get older, we still kind of poke fun at it, but we don't seek to repair the harm.
This is an excellent point, Mila. This is an excellent point, because I think this is about to lead to the question, Sean, you were about to ask. Potentially, I don't know what you pointed at.
The fourth one, I think.
So that's the perfect segue, because I think that is so, and I think this is part of the reason that my post got so much visceral response, because I think there's still, and folks won't admit this, there's still a lot of childhood trauma from their experience in high school for a variety of reasons, be it the kids, be it the facilities, be it the teachers, be it the staff, be it whatever it is, that even though they one of my guys said this in the post, he said they have all this pride and like ego and swole out chest now, but couldn't stand their high schools when they were in high school. Couldn't stand their experience while they were in high school. So they go hard, they ride hard for it, because I think, again, this is just me spitballing, I think people have felt, what's the best way to say this? I think people have felt limited in their options, or feel like they could have done more later on in life had they had better options and better experiences and better facilities and better teachers, all of that. If they had better, had a better toolkit to their disposal when they were shorties. So to shoot at somebody that's working at UPS that might have been, based on their experience and what they were actually given, fed, not food wise, at their schools, They might have had to get out and hustle to pay for help mom do this or help do that, or couldn't afford college, whatever the case may be. So I think that's where a lot of the backlash comes from. And for that, I get it. My bad.
We talking about 704 days of our lives that define our identity, our social hierarchy, and our future earnings. And that's crazy.
Yeah.
704 days.
Yeah.
But some of us have made it work, right? Like the vocational school, and I think we were pro college prep, but I think when we look back, we're like, damn, we should have kept our vocational schools. At the time, we as children, we were like, focusing on trades, not really understanding. Now here we are in Illinois with the highest rate of Black unemployment of the 10 most populous states.
Isn't that crazy though?
It's insane. And we have businesses, but 64% of Illinois Black businesses are solopreneurs.
Yeah.
We can't have businesses that hire our own people, and we are the mass employers of Black people. Yeah. So now we have no vocational schools. We are starting businesses but not hiring each other. We have crumbling infrastructure, in CPS, massive debt, teachers that need to be paid, and students that need to be taught. And a part of me is wondering, what's our goal? Yeah. Because I'm super proud to come from CPS, period.
Right.
The people that we have in office, the people that have, started Fortune 500 companies, amazing people came from public schools and even Chicago State University.
Yeah.
We do not show reverence for the system that raised us. And a part of me hopes that from this conversation, everybody turns around and gets pissed off that while we doing all of this for the reunion, we got fucking illiterate kids. Chicago is 51% fucking illiterate. And that should piss everybody off. I don't give a shit what school you went to. If your school and those kids are failing in math and reading, we can be proud, but let's not be proud of that. Yeah. Let's come together and bring our attention to, if we're so successful, are we successful at making sure that the next generation can replace us?
And that's so big. My mom was a CPS teacher, right? So she went off and she started her education after graduating from Kentucky State University in Michigan. She came back here, my pops, and went right into CPS, right? And it was all about education. I was out here grading the kindergarten and first and second grade class, their paperwork.
That was a kindergarten.
Kindergarten. CPS. Chicago CPS. CPS. Kindergarten. Right. Anyway, we got it. So anyway, I was grading those type of paperwork, and I was trying to be in that process. And I think a lot of this is we're going to talk about probably later is that the pride that you get when you have these schools. Part of this whole thing is pride of being around people that you've been around and you saw what the problems, the challenges they had. And now we made it and we meet each other at these picnic reunions.
Yeah.
And we have pride and we like, yo, you doing that now?
We had that same experience.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Either excel past it or there's I don't mean to say this to be offensive, a bit of a trauma bond around it.
Yeah.
No, that's not offensive.
It's facts. It's facts. But that's what we get. And every time we meet each other, it's another investigation.
Yeah.
Let me see how Jamie's doing.
Let
me see how, and a celebration. And that's what it is. It's more of a celebration. It's not a battle. It's not a hate on another school. It's about when we get together as Hyde Park, it's all class reunions. So we're either 92, 98, 89, 73.
59 classes represented.
59 freaking classes that all comes back to give back and celebrate each other. That's all it is. It's a celebration.
Let me ask you this though, Jeff. You just said something I wanted. That's an excellent point. I celebrate that.
Yeah.
But you just said give back. And to Mila's point, everybody's like, well, you don't come to y'all high school picnics. You ain't getting back to your community. You're going to a picnic. So how are you really giving back?
It's a great question. So this is what I see from a lot of my people that I went to Hyde Park with. On the Hyde Park side of things, there's been a lot. And when you speak about Leo, who spoke about Leo?
She brought up Leo.
You brought up Leo, right?
Yeah.
Right? So Leo is a great example, but I even talk about Hyde Park as well. But Leo is one of the great, because my guy Shaka went back and became the principal of Leo.
What up, Shaka?
He came back because the pride he had in that school, the pride that he's like, this is a big thing. It carved and made a difference in my life. I'm going to go back and make a bigger difference in other people's lives. I know freaking Hyde Park coaches that was there when I was there and came back and made a big difference in Hyde Park, as well as coaches, principals, and teachers. So it's a pride thing. The thing is, we grab that shit and we be like, yo, this experience is so serious to me. How do I give back?
Yeah.
So it's like, do I go back as a teacher or a principal or administrator? Do I go back as a individual who's giving my time and volunteering and giving my educational type thing? Or do I go back as a speaker and let people know that I came from the same school that you came from, and now I have multiple business. I'm a real estate investor. I have a marketing company. I'm working as a contractor at Google. This is what you can do.
Question.
So that's the big thing that we try to give back and let people know. Yeah, go ahead.
And this is not to take a shot. How many Hyde Park students have you hired?
Well, right now I'm not in a position to hire anybody because I'm a solopreneur. I'm a solopreneur. I'm a solopreneur. I communicate with my Hyde Park people all the freaking time. Like, I'm in the Hyde Park group all the time. I've been to all the Hyde Park picnics, and I missed this one because we did the Sox Cubs event. This is the one I missed first time in like multiple years. But I always reach out to my Hyde Park people. Like, I keep in touch with them on a regular basis. It's not just when I go to the Hyde Park thing. We actually keep in freaking touch.
So I want to touch on something. I don't know, Mila has something she want to think about. And I want to ask this question up, but I want to say that to the audience right now, right? Like, a lot of people were talking about, you don't go back, you don't get back to your community, you don't go to the picnic. It's a picnic. You're not really giving back by going to a picnic. I really want folks to use these reunions and picnics as a galvanizing force to figure out a way to actually help the kids that are that are in the school that you're in right now. All of them could use help in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. Even the Whitney Youngs, even the Lanes. There are black kids in Lane Tech struggling. There are black kids at Whitney Young struggling because the demographic has changed. There's ways to raise scholarship funds, to just like speaking about how, what I like to call life after high school opportunities. Yep. Right, like there are ways to hook them up with scholarships for college. There are ways that you can get back besides pulling out your grill and going to a barbecue and say, I'm representing my community. But did you? Did you do anything? Did you really do anything besides drink, smoke, and have a good time?
So I love this conversation. I mentioned earlier, my high school wants to start having more regular reunions. I don't know if we want to get to Hyde Park level, but, we want to meet more. Mm-hmm. And it gave me a really good idea for next year. Maybe donating a little bit more, and some of that money can go towards a graduating class, or we find one of the sports that may need some money for their uniforms. That trying to find ways to support Bowen coming out of that reunion. And I think, and I'm sharing this to say, I think all of the classes, all of the schools, from the Youngs down to DuSable, Washington, need to think about what they can utilize as part of their fund that can still get back to their school. This is a really great.
Yeah, that's what Simeon does, right? And it's a competition, right? Like, every class has to raise money. Shout out Kitty Harris for organizing the class of '99 and encouraging people to give back. And it is so important to do that. And I love that we have an opportunity to use a gathering to direct funds collectively. Yes. Because if you only have $5 or $10, everybody's not doing good at the time, right, when an ask is generated. Mm-hmm. And so reunions, they happen every year. Yeah. You know it's coming up. Mm-hmm. What does it take to say thank you with your financial love donation? Can you commit in yourself? I'm going to donate $100 for my reunion. So I'm gonna put aside $10 every month, and I'm gonna say Jones Commercial, and I'm gonna say Simeon Bouquet, Simeon Career Academy, and put it out there. I think that is, and I would love to be the city where the high school alums give the most of any Black metro city in America.
So I'm gonna challenge us. I mean, not that my little small Brian's little small podcast means anything, but I would like to challenge all of us, everybody who went to, I saw Steinmetz in the comments, I saw Morgan Park, Hyde Park, Kenwood, whoever. I want to challenge all of you all to bring that to your reunion committees as something to do, because I think that would be amazing for each of the schools to figure out a way to contribute back to their schools.
That's amazing. Like Fanny, I went to NIU. After I graduated Hyde Park, I went to Northern Illinois University, right? We created, and before I even got there, I didn't create nothing. But they created the Fannie Ruth Patterson Foundation Scholarship Fund. It's the first African-American person as a woman that went to NIU and graduated with an education degree, right? So what I do is NIU, I always host and work with them towards the end of the year to host a scholarship fund, which gives back to high schools to give money to people who's been working in high school to try to go to college, so we can get them to college. You know what I'm saying? We can give them those funds to get them into college and get them into this situation, and we can help provide them with the funds to do that, because a lot of times we just don't have the funds.
Yes.
Yeah. I also want to echo, like when you said it's Black students at Lane and Black students at Whitney Young. I forget the chapter, but Alpha Kappa Alpha has decided to make their chapter up north, and their scholarship was specifically for Black students on the north side. Like we have our heads so far up our ass that we often will hoard resources just on the south and the west side, as if there are not Black poor students in some of these really high level high schools.
Yeah.
And so that's another part of how it is that we have to kind of dissolve these boundaries for who it is that we help and what side of town that we help, because there are Black kids at 4848, and if you from uptown, you know what 4848 is, or the last block of Chicago, that are going to schools like Sin and Sullivan, and they're completely invisible simply because they don't live on the Black side of town. Yeah. That's the other thing that I hope comes from this, is for us to recognize they might not have a strong alumni, like a cultural alumni association that looks out for them. Like Lane got a whole Black alumni association, right, because they need to have that. Yeah. These other schools that are super diverse, with these small population of Black kids, literally get left behind because they're not around us.
Yeah. And Jennifer, I want to address your comment. Jennifer said that can't we just go to the picnic and have fun? Sure you go. I don't see how any of this is stopping you from going. You'll invest $100 to get your food and your drinks and your chair to be comfortable. We can't have a mission behind that says give $10 and then go kick it. You got a 3-block fucking barbecue, and to say that we're gonna make this a bigger mission and just come out and kick it and have fun that feels stressful to people. I don't get that.
And let's just call a spade a spade. We all go out and do what the fuck we want to do all the damn time. We are not limited in our fun in this city or in our lives. So taking a reunion as an opportunity to give $1,000 or whatever would end up being in your high school is not, to Brian's point, going to make
how's that stopping
your reunion feel like work.
How's that stopping your fun? I don't see why the two are mutually exclusive. It don't make no sense to me. But anyway, let me ask you this, guys.
We still haven't really done for.
I'm getting there. Are there positive aspects to these rivalries that help build character and or community, or do they simply cause more harm than good?
I feel like that was a loaded question.
Oh, that is fairly loaded. Is there a positive aspect to these rivalries? Sure, right? I think Jeff touched on this when he went on his little 5-minute rant.
Little bit of rant.
I will say this. I think Hyde Park and Simeon and Kenwood, right, their overzealousness for their school is infectious, right? Even you, I'm gonna call you out. You said part of the reason you made that post because you were a little salty because Whitney Young's reunion was shitty as fuck. I want my shit to be right?
Right.
So those schools create these fever pitch where everybody wants to feel that same pride about their school, because everybody didn't go to Hyde Park, everybody didn't go to Kenwood, everybody didn't go to Simeon. So yeah, there is a positive. There's something that comes out of that makes people say, "Hey, I went to Washington. I want to be prideful. I want to have that same level of excitement for my school and whatever form of rivalries I had." So yeah, I think there is a way that this could absolutely be positive. And I would also double back on the last conversation, right? Part of this rivalry, part of our jealousy of Hyde Park could spin in us making a bigger impact on the schools that we went to. So yes.
Who did Bowen beef with anyway?
Washington and CBS.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
But
probably
beef with
more Washington because we took the same bus. Shout out to the South Chicago 30. They were all on that bus. There would be a lot of fights on there. Good. And obviously CBS, we could walk there.
Right. So you know. Jeff, is there any positivity that come out of these rivalries, or is it all negative?
No, I think it's great. I think the positivity that comes from it is like you get pride in where you came from. These are the things that change your lives. You were in the most impressionable times of your lives right now with the high school, right? You went out there and you exposed yourself to different things, and then your parents give you a little bit more leeway to make some decisions on your own. What clubs are you going to join? What are you going to do like that? So after you're out there and you grow and you build, I feel like you continue to grow, and that pride really, it kind of like, it's infectious. You know what I'm saying? So after you leave and you like, oh man, I had to make some decisions. I made some great things. This was an experience that changed my life. I'm in college. I went away and grew. But that was a really infectious time in your life where you really got to grow into your own, right? So when you take that and you look at it and you be like, cool, this is what I did. Now I'm going to actually take this back. And I got pride. This is what a lot of colleges are doing that we're seeing in Chicago at the high school level. Colleges, you think about these Harvards and Ivy League joints. I'm going to send my kids there. I'm going to do this because this is a great, and Howard and all these other schools and these Ivy League. Like, yo, when we grow and we expose ourselves to these things, when you're in a great high school and you had a great experience, now we want to not only like experience that, but we want to go back and send our kids to those schools. And now we're like, oh, I want to invest in these schools. Let me get a bigger wing of Hyde Park. I'm a millionaire now. I'm not yet. I'm a millionaire now. I'm going to put a Jeff Murray wing on Hyde Park. And I want to make sure they continue to do this magnet program to prep people to go to college. This is the pride you start to get because when you do things there, they do all these programs and make you feel like you're a part of the whole organization. Yeah, it makes a difference. You tend to start growing and building where you actually want to go back and give back to it. So yeah, it makes a difference in a positive situation where you want to go back to that community and build. Now, honestly, I didn't grow up in the Hyde Park community. I wasn't down the street from Hyde Park. I didn't even have to test in either because my grades were good.
I mean, but
you went to Julian,
so we suck. We just
grade school.
I still made the same joke.
Grade school. I didn't come from grade school from Julian. There was no grade school in Julian. I had great grade school joints where I can go right. Yeah, maybe it was. And I went right to Hyde Park.
And you all thought I was. And you all thought I was.
Her name is Sean. What is it? Chantel.
Chicago.
Right. But yeah, it's definitely a positive spinoff of it because you get pride in it. You go back to it. Right now, the Obama Library expands from Woodlawn all the way right into the front of Hyde Park High School.
Y'all gonna identify as dolphins.
Right in front of Hyde Park High School.
We'll take that bitch over.
And because of that, all the people that's going to come into that community, all the gentrification, guess what? Now you can't segregate and be like, I'm not going to give those black kids any good education. Now there's other people and races and nationalities that's in that neighborhood. Now you have to give them the education. Now you have to invest into those people.
In 5 years. All right.
I don't even think it'll be 5 years. I definitely think a year after that Obama Library opens, it will no longer be Hyde Park. It's going to be something else.
It's going to be something else.
It's going to be the Michelle Obama College Prep.
Something bigger and better, right?
Hey, look, I give you $100 if that actually happens. Because if you predict that, and to that point, I mean, Chicago's lost 30% of the black population, 10% every single year. The city is not for poor people. Really is not trying to keep black folks. The schools that have created black professionals and entrepreneurs and even city workers and homeowners is disappearing in front of our eyes. So the question is like, is it all positive?
Is it all negative? Or is it a mixture?
Okay, it's a mixture because we roast, right? I'll say this has been the most entertaining alumni reunion of my adult life. It was creative. It was multi-layered. It was music. It was art. It was fashion. It was finesse. It literally was Who Got Served Chicago High School Alumni Edition. And that's what I absolutely love. I didn't know what I was going to see. And then you realize like who went where and who's riding with who and old pictures. Like it was phenomenal to go down memory lane. It was cool to see people love on their people and kind of click up and gang up on each other and try and outdo. We're Chicagoans. I think that was absolutely amazing. It was all lighthearted. On my grandmama, it was all lighthearted until you made that post. And then
he ruined the city of Chicago.
You do it. This is my opinion. It was all cool. It was all smooth and all fun and games until
he got jealous.
It's like a yo mama joke, and you did too much.
I took it too far.
You took it too far, right? And it was and so
that's kind of my style.
It's your brand, right? And when I looked at your picture, like your Facebook profile, I'm like, you doing this with boats in the back, man? Like, this is definitely.
I didn't even notice that.
You called it out. I hadn't even thought about it.
You know, you are outside just hurting people's feelings, but it did unearth some realities of how it is that it feels for somebody to treat you a certain kind of way because of what school you went to that you didn't have a choice. Many of us did not have a choice, just like your curl. I'm so sorry.
Damn.
I can't wait till this episode.
Many of us did not have a choice. It was not our fault that our parents also went to that school and lived in a community that was disinvested in, and that's where we had to be educated at. And for somebody else to treat you like shit because it happens, right? Like for some of us, it's witty banter and it's all fun and games. For other people, you literally won't be invited. You will be talked about in your face, and people will think like, oh, it's funny, but at the same time, it's exclusive. It's elitist. I get very protective over Simeon because don't nobody know why is Simeon so close? 400 to 500 students in a building. There are families that come from that school. It's so small that it is intimate. We know each other. We live around each other. You know, like, it's beautiful to see that school and the generations of it. But people treat Simeon like we some cornballs, like we goofy or like super ghetto. And I'm like, you don't know how many business owners that have the capacity to hire people that come from that school. Yeah. And so we also don't really know who the schools have produced, because once you say the school, we don't care about your profession. You know, like people like will write you off. Like the conversation gets stuck. Like, oh, Inglewood. Truth be told that this person is a realtor and probably could find you a house, but you so stuck on the fact that they went to Inglewood up to no good that you keep the conversation right there and you miss out on, you know, making a dope connection.
Yeah. You know what? Every time Mila come on this damn show, after I said some controversial shit,
she make you feel bad.
She made me rethink my position.
Good.
She made me think maybe marrying a hoe was okay.
Oh.
Remember that conversation?
I did.
Yeah. I think Jeff, you was here for that conversation.
I think I was here for that one.
Jeff was here. She did not change
Jeff's mind. But she made me rethink. Now she's made me rethink.
So your third wife could potentially be a stripper.
Number 3.
Why not? Not from Julie.
Why can't it be a stripper from Lane Tech?
One from Bowen.
No,
could be a stripper
take
from
it too far. Take it too far.
She
can strip and come from Julian, but I don't know.
I ain't messing around with that.
So I do want to do this. Hey, Ron, real quick. Throw my phone number in the chat. 773.
Oh, what is this?
209.
Wait a minute.
Stop. 773-209-5749. That's my real phone number. Anybody that had some beef with me in the comments on any of these things, if you happen to be on here and want to holler at me, you can call me.
Can I just say I did not approve this
Hit me up
whatsoever.
Hit me up.
If he gets
and if you text me,
my name is Chicago Pot Man
Podcast on some
co-host.
bullshit, or you texted me late night with some insults and
He's
shit.
gonna block you like
keep it in decent times. You know what I'm saying? Don't hit him out there like 9 o'clock.
I mean, just be fucking adult. And if you want to be goofy, then I'll just block you.
Can y'all text y'all boy and tell him how awful an idea?
I don't care about. This is what I'm saying, y'all.
Be
so
honest.
Y'all worry about. I'm not worried about these people. Okay. Give me a shout. I want to have a conversation. If you want to have the conversation, have it with me. If you don't call. It's all good. I don't expect my phone to ring.
Why if it ring right now? I would love that.
Why didn't we just
ring right now?
The link to the green
fuck
yard.
That. Call me. You talk shit about me. Call me.
Now you identifying as a
shout out to Claire.
Okay, all right.
I like it though. Facts.
I'm here
call this man. I'm here for it. As a matter of fact, call him right now while we on the air.
Now, I gave the opportunity. We'll see if it happens. No, that's what I said. If you call me out.
Oh,
here we go. This fucking John. Hang the fucking phone up. John Irving, what's happening, baby?
Stop blocking the line.
What's going on?
Hey, what's the deal, baby? What you want to say?
I'm going to tell you, Sean, I'm a Bowen graduate. Put some respect on Bowen's name.
Put some respect on Bowen's name.
What did I say that was disrespectful of Bowen? Other than I went there and I did not love it. What did I say that was disrespectful?
You sound a little like almost embarrassed in the shade.
Negative. No, I told the truth. Bowen was a rough school, but I did learn a lot from Bowen. Let me just say this. I didn't say this part. You're right. I learned a lot from Bowen, and there's a lot about me that is reflected in my everyday life that came from Bowen. But if you want me to act like Bowen was Whitney Young, I cannot do that, sir.
Oh! Or Hyde Park.
Okay. I mean, I called so you would say, hey, I did learn something because you left that out.
Okay.
A Boilermaker is a steel worker.
Oh, I apologize.
This is what Brian was talking about.
Two things, but yes, there you go.
And it's a drink.
No,
it is also a drink.
Okay. because of the proximity to the East Side steel mills that were in the neighborhood when Bowen was constructed.
Oh, look at that.
This is where it came from.
Okay.
We got another call?
John,
All right, John, we got to go. We got another caller.
God damn it. We got to go.
All right, Jay.
One time for the Bowenites.
Next caller.
Accountable.
Yo, what's up? You on the Zone podcast. What's happening?
It is the tradesperson. It's Bam.
They keep talking about Whitney Young, and I know it's because you have.
Who keep talking about Whitney? Do you mean to be on air, or you trying to cut off to me personally?
Oh, no. Oh, my God. This is hilarious.
All right, you got a lot of background noise. Be on my holler later. Hey, you on the Zone podcast. What's happening?
It is the same
Who you
nigga.
gonna kill? Who you gonna kill?
I'm gonna kill you, nigga.
But maybe on Sam at the Stony right now, motherfucker. Wendy's Park. I mean, White Castle Park.
White Castles. White Castles.
I'm
hungry. I'm hungry, nigga.
Enough violence
I'm
is
hungry.
there.
Fuck you got.
Rings.
Fuck you, bye. Get rid of that nigga.
What you silly boy?
That is funny.
Leave him. I'm
Somebody
so glad
called to yoke me up. Ain't that a bitch?
Right,
You thought they were calling for him.
right, the worst call we got was to
I called
you
you
up.
off the shop. For what? I didn't say nothing.
It's
If you want to know what pride
crazy.
is, that's what pride is.
But this is-
People are willing to be like, yo, like put some respect on the school's name. That was so Chicago right there.
And this is to your point. Chicago is what it is. We are so Chicago. What is Chicago? Chicago has every national sport in the world, right? Soccer, baseball, basketball,
We got a rugby team?
Oh, you
football.
gonna let him? You gonna run?
We got no. I ain't gonna go on. I'm about to run out. But I will tell you this: like we have we are competitive. Like all of us, we went to high school in the '90s. These are the people, majority of the people that's at these picnics, right? This is when Michael Jordan ran the Bulls. We were all about the freaking competitive nature of winning. We were all about winning, right? So we sat that back and we were like, yo, it's about winning. And I want to win amongst all these other high schools. We didn't have anything else to compete against. We were 14, 15, 16, 17 years old. What else did we have? With a freaking curl.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What else did we have to
Curl
compete
in
against?
91.
You know what I'm saying? Sox, Cubs. We had like this little crosstown classic where we only had a little bit to.
You killing Ron ears right now.
Hey,
Oh,
where we had to understand that we had like these competitive spirits in the whole damn city. You know what I'm saying? This is what we grew up on. The Chicago Bulls started winning in what, 92?
91 was the first.
91, 92, 93. We had the three-peat, right? We all went to high school in them days. It was all about competing. It wasn't a negative thing. It was a positive thing. I apologize for you.
I'll say this. I'll say this, though. I think to that point, the rivalries could be positive. Even back then, there could have been some positivity that came out. We got into fights with Kenwood and other folks. Yes, that shit happened. But it did.
Usually at sporting events.
Usually at sporting events. That's exactly
what it was.
We did go to Saying Nations again to fight, but
What y'all doing?
don't worry about it. That's a whole other question. So
it's a damn.
it's a whole other story. So what I am saying though is even now, like the competition can be good as long as, and most of the time, you're right. Maybe I kicked off the negativity in it, but most of the time, though, it can be friendly. It can raise you to higher stakes, and that's why I love the conversation we were having earlier. If Hyde Park said we had the busing picnic with 3 blocks, and it looked like the house was a picnic, and we raised $20,000, guess what Simeon gonna want to do? Guess what Whitney Young gonna want to do? Guess what Kenwood, Morgan Park gonna want to do? Not only do they want the busing ass picnic, they gonna want to outraise the money, and all that goal could be extremely positive. Plus, I'll say this: when I meet people that I have conversations with, They go to other schools. Whether I meet them here, I meet them out of town or whatever. I'm like, oh, you went to Kenwood, blah. And then there is a rivalry banter that happens, but it's usually friendly, and we usually kind of bond, right? Like, and then after that, it's like, all right,
you get a shot, I get a shot.
All right, Bronco, all right, I got you. So it can bring folks that little competitive banter can bring folks together. Now, it can spill out into some negative shit if people take it too far. Yeah. Absolutely.
Shout out to Brian.
Shout out to me.
Chicago man.
Chicago man. Baby pushed the envelope a little bit.
Chicago man.
And it was because it was the blue collar workers, you know. Like,
that's what it was. I don't even.
That's what tricked it off.
Yeah, I think it was the UPS shot.
They didn't like that. They didn't like that at all.
Like, so it not just, so let's be clear. It wasn't just that, but it was the undertone of we're so important, doing important things that we're not here, and you all got stuck. When that was the whole plan for millennials, we were told go to school, come back, buy a house, work for the city. And many of us got educations, came back, live on the block. That's what we were supposed to do. There's nothing wrong with that. That's literally what the plan was. To come back to the crib and make it better. That part probably stung, right? Like,
shout out to Mila for making Brian feel like shit.
No.
Actually, sometimes that's easy. Sometimes that's easy.
You'll be fine.
I know.
You know.
I feel where she's coming from, though.
Yeah.
And I knew all this when I posted it, and I stand by it still. But I feel what you're saying, because I was joking, but I get why it triggered folks. And nobody really wanted to own that, right? Yeah. Nobody wants to own their hurt. They want to try to hurt me in response, which ain't gonna work. So, but if it stung, and I told a lot of people this in the and I said this on my live yesterday. If it stung so much, that really ain't about me. That's about you, and you need to figure that out.
I will 100% agree with that. And I will tell you this. I will say this. Like, I've already been a part of the NIU Black Alumni Association. I created a Facebook page where we're over 3,000 people because I created a Facebook group. You know what I'm saying? For the Black Alumni NIU Association. And because of that, I've always participated in like raising funds for scholarships for the Fannie Ruth Foundation, that we've always pushed to that. But right now, because of this situation right now, I want everybody to hear me right now. I'm going to elevate that to another situation. I'm going to work to the Hyde Park group.
Come on, challenge everybody.
I love my Hyde Park group.
I
want to link it to the Hyde Park group and raise money for the Fannie Ruth Foundation through the Hyde Park group to bring more Black high school people to NIU.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Come on. And that's going to be more money that we can spread across the city of Chicago. And it's not going to be specifically just the Hyde Park. It's going to be the city of Chicago people that already do the NIU joint. But I think all these joints through NIU that we at Hyde Park, that we grandly bring all these people together, we can put this shit together and make this Hyde Park scholarship joint to NIU even bigger. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to take ownership right now. That I'm going to tie in with my people. Crystal. Yo, I'm about to start naming some people. You know what I'm saying? Hey, yo, I don't even want to do it. I don't even want to put that. I'm going to do it.
Crystal. He already said
Crystal. I put you out there. Renee Kimbrough.
Snap.
Hey, Chris. Yo, we're going to do some joints together where we're going to start an alumni. We're going to get with the Hyde Park whole overall alumni association. Right now, I'm with the 92 group. You know what I'm saying? My class of 92 joint. But I'm going to get the whole association. I'm going to reach out where we can start raising money, where we can increase that scholarship donation that we're already doing for the first Black person that went to NIU. Fannie Ruth was a woman in education. We're gonna increase that, and we're gonna start it with Hyde Park because we had one of the biggest turnouts for our people. Why not put some money towards?
A lot of motherfuckers went to NIU too.
Yeah, we do. Actually, we do. So why not take that money in this celebration and put it towards a good, positive situation, and like put it towards our joint. So we're gonna do that.
Let's do it. Shout out to Tifa from Infamous Syndicate. She's an instructor there, and she does their their radio
Tifa, yes.
program. Yeah, I mean, amazing work that she's doing with those students, and she's turned around that program to get them certified. So when they finish that program, they can actually earn a living wage.
Yes.
So there's so many things happening at our high schools that I really wish that it would be covered a little bit more. So if you committed that, so I think what I am willing to put on the table, I write for Chicago News Weekly. Check us out, cnwmedia.com. We are a Black woman media owned outlet. Tifa actually is on one of our covers, and we shot that. We shot a podcast with her here. Is do a better job of telling the stories of CPS programs and opportunities. And so if you please take down my email, mila@cnwmedia.com. Please pitch me your stories. I can't know everything. There's over 300 schools to cover. If you have a story, if you have some celebration, if there's a scholarship that you want people to know about, please do reach out to me, mila@cnwmedia.com. If we don't talk about what it is that we're doing, then we just kind of in our little silos. And I know folks don't read papers, but hopefully you'll click the link. So that's I will match you I'll match you on that.
I love it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I gotta because we're almost at time. I gotta do a quick commercial break. I promised my girl I was gonna do this. I don't know if she's still watching. I should have done it more towards the beginning. My apologies. But I want y'all to know that this Sunday from 2 to 7 at Sauce, it's a cannabis-friendly space.
Hey.
All right.
I love it.
They are doing a creatively Black tribute to 90s hip-hop. All right. The studio to advance urban creativity and education. That's what Sauce stands for.
Shout out Kiana.
What's up, Kiana? So I want y'all to check Kiana out. She's out, I think, in Matson. I think it's technically where it is. Dope house, 2 levels, big backyard.
Great
It's gonna
venue
be
to rent.
great venue to rent to have. And just because it's cannabis friendly doesn't mean it has to be a cannabis event. It's an awesome space. I want you all to check it out. Again, look it up. Sauce, creatively Black tribute to 90s hip hop. Oh yep, Matson, Illinois. For tickets, bit.ly/creatively Black. bit.ly/creatively Black. But if you just Google Sauce Matson, I'm sure it'll come up. It'll pop up. Yeah. I want to make sure I shouted out my girl's joint.
That's what's up.
And here's what me and Ernest just made he just threatened to kill me on the phone. But he made a great suggestion. I think me and Sean are gonna have to do. We're gonna figure out. You all get in touch with Mila. You all let her know what things you want them to support, what organizations, what fundraisers, those types of things. And we're going to do a telethon. We're going to pick one. We're going to pick one. And 1 week, we're going to do a telethon to support that organization.
Hey, look. You cannot like disingenuously pass over NIU Black alumni.
It could be on the list.
We got to add that to the list
the first one
of the
on the list.
people because...
No, don't promise him that.
No.
I'm saying it's the first
he
one.
already did. It's on the camera. It's on the video.
Doesn't mean... Hold on.
I have a better one.
Hold on.
Not that I don't love you.
I love it.
I'm not saying that's the one we're going to pick.
I'm just saying one of many. One of many. Yeah, at the top of the list. But I'm not saying we can't be the only one. I mean, I understand. It needs to be everybody. But I've been doing this for a long time. And people look at me like, yo, what do you do? And I don't, it's not up to me to flaunt what I do outside of this shit. You know what I'm saying?
You got to. You have to, Jeff.
I do.
When you're doing good works, you have to bring it to attention so folks can support the
and I appreciate that.
And that's not about bragging about what you're doing. That's
it's not
getting support for what you're doing.
And I've grown to appreciate that because in the beginning, I was like, I don't want to be doing that. But over the last several years, I've been in a better space where I'm looking like I need to do that because it will bring more appreciation and attention to what we're doing, and it will support more kids to get that want to go to college. Everybody don't have to go to college, but if they want to do these other things on the side, that's cool. But if you want to go to college, I want to give you the opportunity to go to college.
Put Devin's comment up. I'm sorry.
And I'm
as in not that Devin.
Oh, the other Devin. No, the other Devin.
No,
another
he
Devin.
said, "Why the hoes look like Jimmy Jam?" That's funny.
Oh!
Hold on,
I guess I'm Jimmy Jam.
You watch it. Hold on, people. When I said in my live the other day that if you gonna crack jokes on me to make them original and funny, this is the shit I'm talking about. That's fucking hilarious.
Right.
All right.
Let's do it.
Last question. And then we gonna get up out of here. Also, yeah, we had one.
Lord, there's more.
What was the last
that
one?
I guess we talked.
We kind of touched on this, but I am curious because gentrification came up. We were joking about high school going to be, Hyde Park's going to be 88% white in 5 years. Michelle Obama College
You heard it here first. Y'all know where to timestamp that.
But to Neela's point, as we lose more and more African Americans out of our communities, and our communities shift and change, Whitney Young is a prime example of this. When I was at Whitney Young, it was 80% black, 20% other. It is now 30% black, 70% everybody else, right? The demographics of these things are going to change. How are these, and these new schools pop up, right?
Yep.
Now Jones has switched from commercial to career, college prep. You got Peyton, you got Brooks, you got all these other places that are popping up, that add to this mixture of where black folks go to school.
Yeah.
A majority of black folks go to school, I should say. And to be frank, there's only a handful of them.
Yeah,
How do we think the shifting demographics in Chicago will change these rivalries, these high school rivalries, and how we talk about them?
If you don't mind me, go ahead.
First thing that came to mind since Biggie was on that first track is some beef is everlasting. This is not going to change the beef, right? Now, it will probably change the younger generations of how it is that they're participating and how many people, because as the demographics shift, you might find that people are not participating as frequently, or if you're displaced. There's I think open spaces are much more expensive. We don't know what permits are going to look like to congregate and fellowship in certain places. I am really afraid for Hyde Park and what it is that you all are going to have to do and finesse and pay to use that space that you all have been able to have access to freely. I'm very nervous about any open gathering of masses of black people with that and other industries that are coming in, like the quantum whatever that's coming on the lakefront. We're seeing our community change, and a place where 1,000 people can kick it is slowly starting to disappear. We've already lost festivals and access to the beach because of beach impact fees, which is crazy. So I feel like we're going to have to think about how do we move around in ways that actually help black communities. So shout out to the Southlands that open Calumet City that make sure that the Forest Preserve District is there. Having Cook County commissioners on our side, because we have black towns in the Southlands, we probably are going to have to be located on the outside of the city as the city changes and becomes more expensive. So I know that's kind of like a tangent from demographics, but because we gather in place, as the place changes and the people say we don't want them there. We don't like whatever happened with Simeon after the picnic ended and people came. Residents, if they don't look like us, could be like, we're gonna lobby the older person to say this can't happen anymore. And if you don't side with us, then we're gonna get you out of office. We literally are watching our city dissolve and how it is that we can be in certain spaces, and we do need to think about what the next 10 years looks like if we want to keep gathering together.
Sean, I'm gonna throw that to you. That's a great answer, Neela. I appreciate that insight. But I want to circle it back to just how the high school, not even just like as adults, but even as kids are in school, right? Will Whitney and Kenwood beef always be a thing, or has it already fizzled out, right? Like, how do these changing demographics erode some of the rivalries as we've known them? And as Neela just said, some beefs are everlasting.
Like what beef is everlasting?
I think Whitney Young Ken was always going to be everlasting. I think Whitney Young Lane is
going
to be
everlasting.
Though?
Because part of that was because of the black student body. Right?
I agree.
And as far as I know, and I could be wrong, Kenwood, there is no white student body at
they have a small percentage.
Well, they may have like 4.
They have a small percentage.
4.
They have a small percentage. But they do call themselves the HBCU in the South Side. So they still are very, very black.
Right. So I think that's part of it, right? If the black people aren't there to carry the rivalry, then how would that rivalry survive, right?
I don't know if this particular rivalry was based strictly on color, though. I think it was about academics. I think there was some sports on it. They killed most of our. We fucked that up.
But you notice how y'all weren't beefing with Lane, right?
We were beefing with Lane, though. It was just a different beef.
Oh my God! It was the most intellectual beef
right.
ever.
That's right.
Well, maybe that's how the beef will change.
It wasn't really beef. It was more.
It was very posh.
Wagyu.
yeah, it was weird. I mean, there were sports, so like swimming,
they were in our conference.
Okay.
Swimming was wild,
Right,
wildly competitive, but it was really snooty.
That's so shocking. I am more interested to see how social media changes rivalries, right? Because these kids are very isolated, and we talk about this a lot. They're very to themselves. They're even more cliquey than we were, right? We were pretty fucking cliquey when we were in high school. They're even more isolated and more cliquey, right?
Mm-hmm. And the cliques are small.
And it doesn't. The city is not like when we were young. There were lots of places we would go, and there were lots of things we could do. We could go to the mall. We could go to the reggae dance on that place on South Chicago that I can't remember the name of. Like there were a lot of things.
We go to Taste and get numbers.
Right. There were a lot. They don't
snakes around our necks.
They don't have that anymore.
No, I wasn't doing that.
So I don't really see outside of just like IEG and about it. I don't see how they could carry the rivalry forward. Where would they go? Where do they see each other to do it? Like I don't see where it can live.
TikTok
and flourish. How?
It'll flourish online.
Like they just gonna be on IG
and
talking
at what are they called? Oh my God, takeovers.
Mm-hmm.
And is there another name for them? I feel so old.
I don't know, but that I'm curious. I have more of a question than I do like a position.
I think that the social media aspect of it might hype it up even more and make it worse. Right? Like if we had beef with Kenwood, we could only see Kenwood if we drove our ass over to Kenwood, they drove our ass over to us, or we happen to be playing a game together, or we happen to be at the same party or something like that, right? Now that I can just go on Kenwood's IG page and start fighting.
Y'all suck. You suck. Because actually it doesn't happen too often. Like the pages are open and like you could take shots, but usually people will repost instead of like being on the page. But I have 3 teenagers. And all of them are Broncos. They have.
I just hired a Bronco, by the way.
Nice.
I just stole y'all social media person, by the way.
Their social media person is hilarious. Like other schools that have like great social media cover, like and production, hands down Kenwood. But what I realized is the kids, their pride in the school elevated after they left.
Yeah,
it wasn't really while they were.
Somebody had just said that. I don't know where it was.
Like it's not the same. I think they were kind of amused at how it is. The old heads was beefing. It was like, wow, what's going on? But now they're like always want to wear Bronco stuff. Tell everybody that they're from Kenwood. But I think that's because they're out in the world with adults, and the adults are like, where you go? What school you go to? Who you know? Like, and they're realizing like, oh, it means something to be a Bronco. Yeah. And they get perks from being Hyde Park kids that went to Kenwood. People look out for them. People, like it's a very odd amenity to have that diploma, but they like the perks.
I'm gonna be honest. I twisted my resume a few years ago to figure out a way that I went to Whitney Young. Like clearly, you can't say I'll graduate when nobody cares when you graduate high school. I'm old shit too, so nobody gives a fuck. But I said I on my list of things I did put, and I ain't on it. It's online. The Whitney Young Alumni Committee. Right?
I say, what is there like a dolphin in the background? Like what is
you
just had to name drop because you knew that somebody
Whitney Young, that's gonna open that could potentially open.
That's not untrue. That was a weird way to say I agree.
Weird, but
but Jeff, rivalries, where you see them going?
I really think the pride is always gonna be there, right? So you have rivalries, the deep down in the gut of the actual high school of the people is really have rivalries. It's like you have pride in your school,
even if these demographics change and the demographics of the school change.
It will change. So, say the demographics is going to change. You're going to get a little bit more white people because right across from Hyde Park, there's going to be all these motherfuckers people that's coming in. It's gentrification. Mm-hmm. It is what it is, right? So you're going to get some more Caucasians that are going to come into Hyde Park. That's what it is. They're going to adjust their programs. They're going to make it a little bit higher level because you're right across the street from the Obama Library. A lot of people are already moving in. I see people walking with their white dogs right now. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. So the pride is going to stay in there because the school just has pride, and that's just what the city of Chicago do. But once you get them in there, the city of Chicago and all the people that come in there, it's going to be a little bit different where you're going to have to look at the people and decide like, yo, these are the people we're working with. These are the situations that we're dealing with. And I don't think that because of the gentrification, the thing with the gentrification is like when the people come in there, they're going to be higher expectations now, right? These people walking them dogs is early on, and now they're going to be like from 5% to 20% to 30%. That will change the programs of these schools.
Let me ask you this.
It will not just be the same Hyde Park Career Academy.
Let me ask you this.
It will be different.
Who's Hyde Park's rivals?
Oh, Kenwood has always been the Hyde Park rivals. Yeah, and I hate when they come across our school, and I apologize for them that the ones that got beat over the head because they couldn't fight back because they were in the soft part of the city. But it is what it is.
They're a half a mile away.
I know, but they took that Jeffrey bus right in front of us. They took that Jeffrey bus right in front of us, and they were like super scared. Like, why did you go to the back of the bus? Go to the front.
Stay in the front.
The driver.
I told my boy.
It was wild. They'd drag him off the bus.
He said, I'm not even gonna touch that. He said that. So my boy was talking shit about when young, blah, blah. I was like, that's weird coming from a guy where Hyde Park used to go shopping on your bus stop.
Right. Like, what chain you got on? I like that. Let me get you a beeper. Give me a man. Let me grab them Jordans off of you. Yeah, I mean, we grab shit off of that.
So as you say that, as the demographics of Hyde Park changed, with the high school, not necessarily the community. Yeah. Do you think that same rivalry will exist with Kenwood, or will that shift?
I believe
you aren't on the same conference or anything, are you?
No, not at all. But it's a natural rivalry. I think it's a neighborhood rivalry that will continue. I think the only thing that will change is that, like, look, we have different people over here. The good thing about this, that the demographic change is because this has always been my mindset. It's like if you have a so segregated city. Chicago is the number one segregated city in the United States. I'm not just.
I think it's number one.
I think we fell out of number one, but close.
We're in the top three. I mean, all right.
We're pretty bad.
Very, very, very bad. Right. Which means if you want to kill all the black people, you just bomb the city of Chicago. Right. I just bomb the whole South Side and West Side, and I kill all the black people. If I just wanted to kill all the black people. If I want to be racist, right now,
that's dark.
And it's really dark. It's really dark. It's really dark. But if you think about it, now that you're bringing other people in who has a mindset that we want to grow, we want to build because the Obama Library is here, black, white, or Chinese, whatever religion, whatever situation, nationality, now they're going to force these high schools to grow and raise their expectations.
Now, Jeff, I'm going to have to push back. Chicago has been segregated since the inception of Chicago. Right? And that they're not going to stop segregating us because white people want to live in Woodlawn.
Do you think Lynn Bloom was always a nice school, was a STEM school?
That's not my point. My point is
Lynn Bloom changed for a lot of reasons.
That's not my point. My point
Hyde Park will change for them reasons, same reasons.
It will just become white, and they will push the black people to someplace else, and it will black someplace else.
Oh, I'm not saying black folks won't get away.
Stop.
Oh no, I'm not saying segregation. No. Let me roll back. It will never roll back. I'm just saying Hyde Park will now have to raise their expectations, and the requirements for that entrance and all the stuff that goes along with Hyde Park will change. I'm not saying that black folks will all do this certain thing. No, but you have to look at it this way. We are just as smart as them.
True.
We are not dummies, right? We are not dummies. So as we grow, there's different situations that we're exposed to in these situations. In Hyde Park, yeah, you're going to get more of these other folks that's coming in, but that's also like we cannot neglect Hyde Park anymore. We cannot neglect Hyde Park High School because we have these other folks in there. It's not the equal bomb area where I can now bomb it because it's all just black folks.
Push back in the same kind
you're talking about the school. We're talking about the people.
Yeah.
Right? Like the school, the infrastructure is going to receive resources because of who's there. It's the same reason why they're not receiving resources because of who is currently there.
Right.
That's the unfortunate part. What we saw is when black folks went to the south suburbs, the first flight, motherfuckers moving to Olympia Fields, and when Dalton turned black, right? Now we have people in a system that can't afford their schools, don't have street lights,
right?
Don't have public transportation to get back into the city, we are never given our just due. And
Oh,
we're
that's not going to
seeing-
change right
we're
now.
seeing, unless we actually take care of ourselves. I'm always impressed how we went from not being able to read to creating our own institutions and our own banks and our own publications. We didn't have any funding or resources from white America at all.
Right.
A part of me feels like maybe we're a little distracted with what it is that they're not giving us and taking advantage of the fact that we have everything we could possibly need right now. It doesn't make sense to argue for more resources and we're fucking illiterate. That the kids can't read, the adults can't read, which means that they probably don't even know how to vote or even look at a ballot.
Right.
That's where we are.
Of course.
Right. I do also. I know we gotta go. Somebody had a post.
We'll pay Ron extra.
Yeah. Somebody had a. She said, "Are we not gonna act like the Kenwood Whitney Young beef didn't start with Beasley?" That's how far back this goes. Beasley Academic Center started this beef when they created that magnet school of special Black kids that you had to test into. That created this hierarchy of a school. That what happens when you invest everything to it? We had art, typing. We were the only grammar school with a swimming pool. We had French. We had Spanish. I mean, we had computer class. We played for Bill Clinton when he came off of the plane. Right, so you had schools like Ray and Robert A. Black of students like that was the second
Pershing.
Yeah, that the students always laugh, the students that can't get in. But when Chicago invested into that magnet school, it created a trickle down effect for these are the Black kids that are going to be impressive when you give them absolutely everything.
They're going to excel.
So when you look at who's kind of like the I don't even want to say cream of the crop, but the Black kids that have been really invested in, they went to Beasley. Many of them were at Jack and Jill. They were the Black Children's Black Choir.
Yeah.
These were the dancers at Mayfair.
Yeah.
These were the Merit Music program, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the unfortunate part, is that I can remember when they decided to use little Black kids as a science project. For what the fuck happens when you give them all their fucking money? And you know what happened? People fucking hated us. They hated us so much that they used to rob us on the bus. Why don't we have windows? Because we were right across the street from the projects. They changed the time to get into school because we were getting beat up by the other Black kids on the block. I had to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, get on the bus. We started school at 7:30, an hour before, and got out an hour early just so people wouldn't beat our ass. Why? Because people gave us money. We had one person from the projects. 2 white people. Jim and Kathleen, who are super dope. Hey, Jim. Right?
What's up, Jim and Kathleen?
How you still remember their names? That's crazy.
And you know why we remember names? Beasley, shout out Beasley. We have an all-class alumni event on the 24th of August. Beasley Bees are so tight and so close. Shout out class of 95. We're a family. You started in 1st grade and you finished in 8th grade and you ended up going to school with each other. And so Chicago rivalry in terms of this hierarchy, there was a rivalry, but the intellectualism and the investment in started with that school.
I can't even argue that. Hey, we're a little bit over time, but this is a conversation we had to have. Hey, listen, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you're a first-time viewer, I hope you return. I hope my little bullshit ass post put eyes on the show. The show is this, right? It's not me just firing shots and saying hot random text. It really is about the intellect of our guest and the topics we talk about. Now,
right?
You know, sometimes we talk about absolute trash. Sometimes we get into things a little deeper. This is probably mid-tier in that conversation. But I'm glad that you gave us a shot, and I hope you give us a return shot. I do appreciate each and every person that laid eyes on this live, even if it was for 5 seconds. Sean, do you want to say anything to wrap us up before we go?
I was hoping you would skip me because I have to say this, right? Kind of piggybacking off of what Jeff said and really more piggybacking off of what Mila said, right? I really want us as Black people to stop getting hype when white people are willing to put money into our neighborhoods for this one very reason. They're putting money into our neighborhoods so other white people can be there and receive that money. We will continue to be poor. We'll just be poor someplace else. So I want us to get angry when we see money being poured into our schools and they're starting to be gentrified, because that money isn't there for us. It's for them. That should piss us off because it pisses me off.
Yeah.
I'm done with my rant. I'm hopping off this whole thing.
You're probably glad you're about to go up there.
Wait.
Just saying. Hey y'all, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you, Mila. Appreciate you, Jeff.
Yes, sir. High Park class of 1992.
High Park class of 92.
In the 1990s.
Yeah, you a little drunk. You a little drunk. I don't
No,
know.
I'm good right now.
You still drunk from Saturday picnic?
Shout out to class of 97,
baby.
Bowen. Somebody was like, 97? Yes, I'm a young at 97.
Yeah, shout out class of
Lord.
99. Yep.
Class of 90, 90, Whitney Young, that Coke class. I see y'all up in the chats. Love y'all.
Lord.
Love y'all.
Hi,
Class of 9D. I know I'm the youngest looking motherfucker up here and the oldest motherfucker looking up here. But I know.
No, somebody said you were 60.
I look great for 60. I hope I still look as good as 60. Hey, y'all, have a good weekend. Have a good night. We'll see you next week. Love you.
Bye, y'all.
Love y'all.
Brown says make your life easy. Don't bleed bad. UPS is hiring. Don't bleed bad. UPS is hiring.
I will let that one sit for a second. Let that settle. Let that settle.
Don't bleed bad.
But if you've ever watched my show,
UPS is hiring.
I consistently tell the ladies, you out here struggling, talking about you can't get a good man, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, y'all better look at some of these brothers that's doing something that's not white collar. They make good wages, electricians kill, right? Sanitation kills, according to some of y'all, UPS out there killing. Don't be bad, UPS is hiring, right? Let's talk about that. Is that what like struck a chord with people? Did people feel like since I said UPS, I was degrading all jobs that involve working with your hands or that weren't white collar, that didn't put you behind a desk? Okay, maybe I was. You're right. It was a shot. It was a shot. Complete shot. But I was kidding. I respect mechanics and all the folks that do the things that I can't do. Let's elevate. Let's elevate, right?